Call the City of Apache Junction Council meeting to order for August 20th, 2024, to order, and have everyone put their cell phones on silent. The invocation be led by Council Member Solar and the pledge by Council Member Heck. Your punishment.
Our Father, who art in heaven, we ask thee to bless this meeting, endow us with thy Spirit. May all our actions and decisions be guided by thy hand, that we may be fair and just to all. Bless our council, police, fire, emergency medical, military personnel, city employees, and our citizens. We ask this in thy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Pardon?
Here.
Present.
Councilmember Cross.
Here.
Councilmember Heck.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Nesser.
Present.
Councilmember Soller.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Consent agenda. A reminder, items under the consent agenda will be approved with one motion. If a council member wishes to remove an item for further discussion, the request must be made prior to approving the consent agenda and will be moved to new business.
Your Honor,
Yes?
I move that the consent agenda be approved as presented. Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Soller.
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser.
Yes.
Councilmember Cross.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Heck.
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, regional intergovernment updates. Does anyone have anything that they want to bring up?
Mayor?
Yes?
I do. Last week, Thursday and Friday, I attended the Morrison Institute at ASU, and we were discussing water. It was one of the biggest, water and housing, low-income housing and housing. And it was very, very educational. Talked a little bit about water earlier tonight. They are looking at bringing out education on reclaimed water. Phoenix uses 12% reclaimed water now. Orange County is using a lot of reclaimed water in California. Basically, reclaimed water is wastewater that they make into drinking water. And it is actually purer than the water that comes out of the ground by the time it's done. We saw tonight, astronauts, that's what they use. They don't get water at the space station. They have to create their own water, and it's wastewater. They are working on a plan to educate the public, break it down to its simplest form so people can understand it, because there's a lot of science and technology into it. But it was very educational. They were talking about low-income housing and trying to get programs together to help people that have low income to get into housing and build more low-income housing. So it was very educational.
Anyone else? Well, I've got a couple things I wanted to bring up. First off, I attended the ribbon cutting for the Painted Sky Park at Blossom Rock. Yeah, there we are. It was warm that day, I'll admit to that. But it was really to see how this park has been blossoming and moving forward, and is now, be part of our, I would say, ability to serve our community, and not only the Blossom Rock area, but also the entire area to the south. But that, I still call it a pond, but they call it a lake, so I call it Pond Lake. Is going to be put fish into it. What's the word I'm looking for? Stocked. There we are. Stocked with fish, so that we will now have the ability to go fishing in our community, and it's very unique and very pretty, and it's something that's great for an addition to our park system. I also attended the East Valley Mayor's breakfast with the East Valley Chamber of Commerce. And it was an opportunity for the chamber to work with the cities of the East Valley in some of the things that we're concerned about with the state legislators. Our state legislators this past year tried to implement some things that really had some very negative effects on us. For example, they passed a bill that said that, you could have up to 10 homes on an acre, and the city could not have rules that would prevent it from happening. And of course, we have our large lot area of our community that we want to protect and maintain. This would have done away entirely with it. And it was something that they also said that if you're within a mile of a major road, and so I asked the question of the legislators, well, what's a major road? And they said, oh, if the road goes from one town to another town or city, that would be considered a major road. And on these, if you're within a mile of it, you can build an 8-story building. So that did away with our height restrictions in our city as well. So we would have to have the, let's say, restrictions be removed of our 2- and 3-story restrictions that we currently have to keep our views. Can you imagine adjacent down here having an 8-story building and still have a views of the superstition? It wouldn't happen. And so it's one of the things that we addressed. And it's very concerning in the aspect that our state legislators are trying to dictate to towns what you can and can't do, and sometimes it has drastic effects. So it was abilities to unite the chamber as well as the mayors of the area. And the other one is, and I don't have a picture for that one, so the other one is I attended today our Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport, and again, for the month of just proceedings, they have had record number of passenger service that they have done. It is growing, and they've expanded now. They've gotten a new terminal area, expanded it, and they're bringing in, I'll say, more flights and more opportunities to, I'll say, travel throughout I'm going to say throughout not only Arizona, but also internationally as well. There's a few that would go into directly into Canada or into Mexico. So it is a growing an opportunity, and as well as all the job opportunities out there, it is something great to see, and then we're still a part of it to make sure that it's growing from what we would like to see in our entire area. Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I don't have anything to add, but I have a question on something you said for Liz. The fishing that's going to be stocked in Blossom Rock, I imagine that's operated by Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
Will they have to have state fishing licenses to fish there? Anybody?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Just curious.
Yep.
They have to have a residential fishing license, correct?
So thank you, Liz Lingabach, Parks and Recreation Director. Councilmember Nesser, for our lakes. So this first one is a catch and release. So we have worked with Game and Fish because there will be multiple lakes, ponds in that area. We aren't able to have every single one of those be a community fishing lake, which is what public spaces like that have to have a designation from Game and Fish. This one is a catch and release. The next one will be a fishing lake, and you will have to have a fishing license to be able to fish there. For catch and release, I'm not sure we'll be rolling out at our November 2nd grand opening celebration with the public, all of the details about fishing, having some different fishing types of programs for kids. But yeah, you have to be licensed, and our park rangers will be the ones who will be patrolling and offering the signage and things that are needed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me, city manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. as Matt's pulling up the report, I just wanted to send a big thank you out to Liz and her team for pulling together the ribbon cutting. It's a big endeavor to pull it together, and they did a great job in the heat, and was very happy to have regional partners come and see the changes that are out there. We're very close to the 24 at that point, about a mile and a half, and that's a point in which for a long time planning in the community, that was a designated general plan area for employment. And so as time comes, that's an area that folks can now see LG from that area. Okay, so I'm very happy. Thank you, Matt. Apache Junction summer reading program numbers have increased tremendously. Huge shout out to our library department, and the numbers are in front of you. 48% increase in registrants and finishers. What that tells me is folks are, we are reaching out and doing a great job of helping folks understand. We're getting folks into the library and to see the wonderful asset that it is, and to be able to increase awareness on the power of learning and growing, and the power of books, and the power of community. Next one, Matt. And as a reminder, we are in the process annually of looking for community members to step up and be a part of local government. We're looking for applicants on all of our boards and commission members, and the actual date to get everybody signed up or applied is September 15th. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to Jennifer Pena, our city clerk. And I'd like to now turn it over to Eli and have a couple announcements.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Just one current event to announce tonight. It is Boba with Badges on August 28th. This is part of a series of events that PD has done. They're really on a streak with the wordplay. I'll read it to you. They've done coffee with a cop, cones with a cop, and pickleball with police as a way to engage the community and get people involved. And we really think it's just an awesome opportunity for people to interact in a slightly less, professional setting with our police officers. And I've heard that they've had really good turnout at these events. And this specific event will be held at one of our local mom and pop businesses. So really good collaboration here from 4 to 5 p.m. on August 28th. And that concludes current events for this week.
Okay, thank you. Consideration and application of Series 6 liquor license for captains located at 300 West Apache Trail, Suite 118, Apache Junction. Jennifer.
Thank you, Your Honor. City Council, I know that all of us follow several different Facebook pages, and we've seen a few comments about captains closing their doors, and you have inquired about the circumstances of that. I will not go into too much detail, but I will say that as soon as staff heard that they would be closing their doors, we did reach out to the applicant, the new owner. We reached out to the Department of Liquor License and Control, and we also have a resource that conducts most of the liquor licenses throughout the state for a lot of the other retail entities. Our goal in doing so was to make sure that any motion that you make this evening did not cause any more undue harm to the applicant or their application, causing a greater significance of financial burden to them. Through those conversations, we did work through many scenarios and what ifs, and we were basically directed to say, and to inform you, to move forward as if you were unaware of the circumstances, hold the public hearing because it was noticed for tonight's meeting, and then still make a recommendation. So I will say that we are no longer able to request an extension of processing liquor licenses. That was taken away a couple years ago. Even if we were to recommend denial, because the location was previously issued a Series 6 license, thinking that we could grant a little more time for the applicant to find another location in the city, basically the board would just automatically approve it. So our recommendation is move forward with the application. We have received all the comments back from public safety, fire, dev services. They do not have any further comments other than all of them are recommending approval. If you have any other questions, I am here to hopefully answer them, but we are here for a public hearing as well. The applicant is present here this evening in case you do have questions of them as well.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I have a question for Jennifer. Licenses go with the person, right, and not the business or something like that?
So when you license an address, that location will always be available to have that type of series at that location.
Okay, so if they move, do they no longer have a license then?
The license will go with them as well. This is a quota license, so they retain possession of that license. They can take it with them, so it is theirs, and move it to a new location. The applicant will have to reapply, go through the same process. We will post the new location for the public hearing, and then you will again see the application and make a recommendation.
Okay, because if the police and everybody approve for the location and they move, then that doesn't mean it would approve the new location.
Correct. It does not approve the new location.
Okay, thank you.
My question is, if we were to approve that, and then how long do they have if they can't stay at that location? How long do they have to find one?
So here's that financial burden that we were trying to avoid. They currently have a temporary license to continue operations and selling alcohol at this premise. It actually lasts longer. It goes until September. However, their lease is up at the end of the month, and they will be out of that location here very soon. So their lease will expire. The place is still licensed, but with no business to operate, there will be no selling of alcohol. If you approve the application tonight, recommend approval, as soon as they close their doors, it's basically shut down. And they will reapply once they find a new location and take that quota license with them.
Okay.
Does the applicant wish to speak?
Hello, Mayor, City Council. I'm Cindy Pearson. You might know me from the Elks because I've been down there for a little while. We fully intend to try to find another location as fast as possible, but the interim that if you go through approval with this, I have a year to find another location. And I want to keep it in the city of Apache Junction. It's good for Pinell County. So I have a year to find that and try to make that happen. I was still hoping that it could be a possibility that the landlord might change his mind. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I can't say that, but I've gone through the whole process and gotten this far with the intention of him giving me a lease. Seeing as how he doesn't want to do that now, I have to look for another. But I don't want to have to start all over again for a new liquor license. I explained to him that I want to lease with him on approval of my liquor license. Without the approval of the liquor license, I don't need his area. I don't need to rent his spot. But, and that was all a go. For some reason, he changed his mind, and now I have to, I can be open till the end of the month under captains, and then that has to be closed down and everything removed that hasn't already been sold. And I'm going to diligently look for another place to make this happen. It's a 22-year business that's open 365 days a year. My dearest friend opened it and is not able to run it now. And this is me trying to help her and the people of this town. They love that place. Hang on to a piece of it. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Any questions from the? All right.
Your Honor, that is one thing about quota licenses, is they have to remain in the county that they were lotteried to. So.
Okay, this is a public hearing. There's a 5-minute time limit with 1-minute warning you will hear. Please state your name and address for the record.
for me.
No,
No.
yeah, for a public hearing. Anyone like to speak on this? Yes, go ahead.
My name is Heidi Erickson. I've been a resident of this town for 15 years, something like that. Very involved with the city. I love the city. And I do go to Captain's frequently. Mary is a great friend of mine who was the current owner. Cindy's a great friend of mine. Do a lot of events and things at the Elks. But Captain's is a place, again, she said, is open 365 days a year. So those people that don't have a place to go to on Thanksgiving, Christmas, days that normally everything else is closed, that's where they would like to go and hang out. And food was always served for them so that it was just like a family-friendly place. Well, I wouldn't say family-friendly, but for older people, sorry. But for the older people, I've not had kids in a long time. But it's a great place for people to meet up. And also they do a lot of good for the community. I know they do canned food drives, they do clothing drives, coats and jackets and stuff. They also do Paws and Claws is a big one that they do, and they really support the Paws and Claws. So they also give back to the city in a lot of good ways. So I would really love to see this place find a new home and stay in business. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
So, 1 second, please. Jennifer?
Yeah.
Did I just hear, you just said Mary is the current owner? And so she is not the owner of this establishment?
She is taking over, she's purchasing
But
the
it's not-
business.
but it's
And
not
she's
official.
purchasing,
So legally, is it yours?
Legally, it's mine, tentative on the liquor license and the lease.
because
Otherwise, I can back out.
Who is
Can't
the
hear
bar's,
her.
who
you
is
come
it
back
under?
to the
Whose
mic?
name is this bar under?
I've purchased it from Mary Ledoux. The payments are based on me being able to get this liquor license in my name, which I had absolutely no problems with this, and getting a lease from the landlord. I have a bill of sale. I own it. It's just, we're helping Mary with her business so she doesn't lose it.
As it sits right now, as far as the state of Arizona is concerned, who owns Captain's?
I do.
You do. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I can I ask you, do you have a purchase agreement?
Yes.
Okay, and it's been signed, executed?
Yes, I have a purchase agreement.
Okay.
Yep, I'm not sure if it was part of my packet or not, but I do have a purchase agreement.
quota licenses are rare, and so an individual likes to hang on to them because you can sell them for any amount that you can get.
Really?
So if a sale of a business, if she backs out, then the original owner can hang on to the license if they haven't transferred it yet, or if it hasn't been approved, because they're rare to get.
Well, it seems a little convoluted here. Go ahead.
It is a little convoluted. My name's Chandra Robinson. I'm a friend of Mary's and Cindy's. Let me back up. When Mary got sick, Cindy was approached to purchase that because that was her best friend, and she thought it would.
I'm sorry, could you come up to the microphone a little better?
Mary thought selling that business to Cindy would bring that business forward. Cindy was hesitant. There was an implied agreement about the lease when she agreed to take on this project, and the landlord backed out of that. She already had started the liquor license process. Without continuing that forward, and with the landlord not giving her the lease, it causes her a lot of financial burden because she has to find something else. I believe that Captain's needs to move forward, no matter if they have the lease or not. The implied lease that she was offered from the landlord at the time, Mary made the agreement with her. She spoke to the landlord, and he gave her that implied agreement, not written, unfortunately, but she was under the understanding she wouldn't have even moved into this position to get that license had she not had the lease. It wouldn't have made sense. So she needs to have the license completed so that she can move it to another location within this county, hopefully within this city. So I hope that clarifies a little bit about why Cindy ended up in this position. There's not a financial gain, it's a legacy gain that we're very all emotional about. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Damian Wydick. I'm actually the operations manager representing the East Valley Shopping Center for Simlamba and company. I just wanted to address, I'm not here to impede on necessarily the liquor license. However, I just want to make sure everyone is aware there was not an implied extension on the lease. We talked to Ralph Henderson in early June to notify him he had stated that he had the documentation and was taking ownership of the bar. He was never able to give us that paperwork, and I gave him a deadline to let him know the lease expired July 1st, and during that time, he said he was not selling the bar, and then he did not get back to me. And on July 2nd, I sent him a message, and then he got to me, still never sent me a power of attorney form or any form that he could act in faith of Captain's Inc. I granted him a 3-month extension, month to month, which was, I told him strictly that's something we do not typically do, for him to provide the documentation. He still did not get it to us. I also asked him, and that's when he said he sold the bar without notifying us. And I said, does the person purchasing it directly to him? And I have all this documentation, this conversation, but I asked him straight up if he knew he was selling the bar to somebody that's gonna have to move it. He said it wasn't his problem, and here we are today. So that's where we had to move on. So thank you.
Jennifer, I'm confused. So it seemed like Mary was the owner, and now this Henderson guy, whatever, he was the owner that sold the bar. I don't know where. Yeah, can you, Cindy, can you?
Come back up to the mic, please.
So Ralph Henderson is the power of attorney for Mary Ledoux. He's
So
handling.
he has the authority to
He
sell.
has the authority to do this.
And he sold that to you. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to ask you, I guess.
Yes.
I can't ask you questions.
Okay. Yes, Ralph Henderson is, Mary Ledoux is in the hospital. She is in skilled nursing care. He has been having to take care of her books and take care of her business for her with his power of attorney for the last few months. And it's been a little mismanaged, but we can get past that. And so I stepped in to buy it and have him and help him through the last months. He did have a month to month. He paid Derek, if this is Derek, he paid Derek for a month to month, and then they were going to discuss. I explained to Sim that I wasn't sure how long the liquor license was going to take. It was going to be somewhere between 1 month and maybe 4 months, and I would do at least a month to month with him until I got my liquor license, and then we would sit down and negotiate the lease. And he was fine with that. He gave me the information to put on my liquor license of who the landlord is, and all that information. I said, is this information correct? He said, yes, it is. That's all on my liquor license already. So I had full confidence he was going to rent to me. He has changed his mind. So I don't know exactly, I assume I am going to be out the door and looking as quick as I can for another location. It is very convoluted. It is because of her situation. She's our dear friend, and this has kind of gone on for a little while before it could all actually, she was in and out of the hospital a lot. And so we had to get her business back up and running because it wasn't. And so, anyways, any more questions? Can I
Well,
help?
I guess I have a question. I mean, without a physical location, how do you buy a bar? I mean, why wouldn't you just walk away from it, find another location, and call
Why
it
would?
Captain's 2?
Because the liquor license is valuable.
Correct, but you would have to go through the process and get another liquor license after you get the new location.
That's correct, just for that, but I'll already
You can't talk from now.
The new location has to be
But
licensed.
the new location has to be licensed before it
The
gets.
quota license, if she didn't buy the business, the owner could sell her just the quota license. But it sounds like she's selling the business assets and the license, but I am not privy to those discussions.
Now, is this license a temporary license that is in possession right now?
The original owner grants permission as an interim to sell under her, who currently owns the license. Mary owns the license. She has allowed her to continue to sell alcohol under that license. It's called the interim. The state board allows that. Once the transfer goes through, then the interim goes away, and she is the owner of the quota Series 6 license.
Gotcha.
And she'll own that no matter where she goes.
She will take that license wherever she goes within Pinal County. It has to stay within Pinal County, and she can sell it for whatever she wants to sell it for.
So even if she doesn't find a place and decides you could sell
If
the
Mary
license.
sells her the license.
Gotcha.
Is Ralph Henderson here?
He is not. He's not here.
Any other?
I mean, it just seems like
There's another one.
a
wants to
missing
speak.
link.
Yeah, he was going to be here, but he's not here, so.
Someone else wants to speak behind you.
Just hate to see Mahmood Mohyuddin, 2341 North Apache Trail. Hate to see another business closed down in Apache Junction. The landlord issue, lease issue, there was internal problem with them. But the Arizona liquor law, if the interim license, they can operate till the day of the lease expire. And when the license is transferred to their name, you can shelf the license with the state of Arizona, the liquor license, and license will not go away. When you find a new place, that you can activate the license back to the new location. That's a law. They cannot lose their license, but they have to wait for it. But it's going to cost them extra money on it, going to a new location and lease, purchasing the product and all that stuff, the table and chair. Unfortunately, that's what happened between the landlord and them. I hope they can resolve that issue. Hope they can open it up the business. We need more businesses. We need more tourist attraction for those kinds of bars and restaurants. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on this matter? Well, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion. Anyone going to do a motion?
Pardon?
Our motion says defer to the city.
To defer to me?
Yes.
I would recommend that council makes the recommendation to approve the license application. That is what the state is also recommending.
Mayor?
One, it doesn't impact her, because if we recommend denial, it causes more problems than help.
Mayor?
Yes.
I will make a motion, exactly what the city clerk said, and approve the liquor license.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Heck?
Yes.
Councilmember Cross?
I tend to agree with what's been said, that the liquor license needs to remain in effect. So at first that's dead set against this because of all the stuff going on behind the scenes, and it seems like there's more to it than we see, and it makes me wonder whether Mary understands what's happening. But I'll say yes.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Schroeder?
No.
Councilmember Nesser?
I already, oh, yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
No.
Councilmember Soller?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor, 5-2.
Okay. No old business, no new business. Council direction to staff. Presentation and council direction to staff for amending city code and land development code pertaining to fees, charges for violations. Rudy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rudy Esquivias. I'm the Development Services Director. A couple of weeks ago at your work session, Mr. Mayor, we came and gave you a short presentation on the issue between the disparity of fees for property maintenance violations and for zoning ordinance violations. The penalty amounts in the zoning ordinance for some odd reason are a little bit less, well, about $100 less than they are in property maintenance. It's pretty much the same procedure, same type of work, same type of paperwork that's involved. So the request is to, at minimum, even out the fees to the higher amounts that are found in in City Code Volume 1, Chapter 9. Or it will also come back with the possible option to maybe raise the fees. City Attorney also mentioned possibly changing the process a little bit. So we'll come back to you with a couple of options for you to consider if you give us direction this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Your Honor, yeah, Rudy, I am all for addressing the current fees, raising them, whether it's to that higher level or even beyond that. I think we need to make certain that we establish a level of expectation that if you're violating the city code, you need to correct it right away, or there will be a financial burden placed on you for that. So I am supportive of moving forward.
Any other comments?
Ditto.
Go ahead. Do I have a motion, direction to staff for,
Mayor, I'll
Yes.
make the motion. I move that the direction to staff be given to draft text amendments to the Apache Junction City Code, Volume 1, Chapter 9, Health and Sanitation, subsection 914, Enforcement and Abatement in the Apache Junction City Code, Volume 2, Land Development Code, Chapter 1, Zoning Ordinance, subsection 11616, Violations, Penalties, and Enforcement pertaining to the fees charged for violations.
Second.
moved and seconded, roll call?
Councilmember Cross?
Yes.
Councilmember Heck?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser?
Yes.
Councilmember Soller?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Presentation and discussion, presentation and council direction to staff amending the city code relating to public safety personnel retirement board. Jennifer.
Thank you, Your Honor, City Council. Last night, I just gave a brief explanation as to why I was looking to amend the City Code, Volume 1, related to Public Safety Retirement Personnel Board. With direction to staff, I will come back with a draft ordinance. This only affects the Public Safety Retirement Board.
Any discussion from the staff, council? No. Could I have a motion for direction to staff?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that direction to staff be given to review and consider updates to the Apache Junction City Code, Volume 1, subsection 2-21-3, Public Safety Personnel Retirement Board, related to vacancies on the board.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
Vice Mayor Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser?
Yes.
Councilmember Heck?
Yes.
Councilmember Soller?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Cross?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Okay. Call to public. I'd like to remind everyone that call to public is a courtesy and not required by law. It's a time for the public to express requests, communications, comments, and suggestions. Request to speak forms must have been completed and handed to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues shall be presented in a professional manner without personal attacks. Underneath the open meeting law, council cannot engage in discussions on the issues presented, but may respond to criticism and may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly or place the matter on a future agenda for council discussion. There's a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. And I've got 2. Andre, I'm going to pick on you first.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor, Andre Meek, 1327 South Bel Air, that's it, here in AJ. Bringing up Mr. Solar's thing on reclaimed water. I've heard a lot of stories about reclaimed water, heard of it's cleaner than what you get normally, all of this. You know, I'd like to see, you know, hard facts on what's in the water when they're done, you know, because, you know, if it has the microplastics still in it, does it have all the drugs that are flushed down the toilet still in it? You know, I hear that they have problems getting that out. I just like to see it on paper that says, yeah, that isn't in there anymore because, you know, more than likely the water we're getting has it just because where our runoff goes into the aquifer and it ends up there. So, you know, I'm not against it. You know, one thing I like to see is, you know, a place where you could get irrigation water. When I lived in San Diego, we had one city there that they had settling ponds for their sewage water, and they had like 4 ponds. And, you know, the first 2 you didn't mess with. The third, you could go over there with a tote, fill it up with garden water, and take it home for free. And then the 4th one was recreation, fishing, swimming, boating, everything. And, you know, cool concept. You know, I just want to make sure that the water's clean enough, you know. I don't want to, you know, like the old movie I once saw where a line was, you know, I've had that taste in my mouth before, you know. But that's my big thing. And then another thing, you know, like City of AJ sells, you know, you can get canal water for irrigation. But, you know, you'd think that it'd be a heck of a lot cheaper than the processed chlorinated water you get out of your tap. But it isn't. You know, you have to buy, or you have to rent a meter, which is $100 and some bucks for the meter. You have to get a key with a $40 deposit. You pay $30 a month to have that meter, and then you pay for the water. And, you know, to get dirty canal water for, you know, just irrigation. So, you know, I'd like to see a place where you could get irrigation water. You know, I trap rainwater, but there ain't no rainwater this year. And, you know, so I'm putting chlorinated water all over my plants, and I don't like that. So that's it.
Donna?
Donna Carr, Apache Junction resident. You know how I feel about reclaimed water. And you think about all the medications and the diseases, and you think about the female that's having that time of the month. Sorry, I don't want to drink that coming out of my tap. There's a lot of disgusting stuff that is in the reclaimed water. And a lot of states are trying to back off from it because the sludge that's left over is ruining crops. In Maine's having a big problem because cattle has died, because people are getting cancer from using the sludge on their crops. And the guy was planting organic and used the sludge. Well, one of the guys died and the other one has cancer. So I think you really have to look into it and do a lot of research and make sure that you test it really well before it ends up out anyone's tap. And as far as that Blossom Park, is that reclaimed water that was used in that? Or is that our well water? But it's only the people that get to use sewer water to drink. Just curious on that one. And if it is reclaimed water, is it a test subject for any fish that's in there to know if they're going to be contaminated when people eat them? Just checking on that. And yeah, if you look at the fact that you want to bring in 8 stories along any road that runs from town to town, we're a checkerboard. Every road runs from town to town, no matter what road you drive on. All right, thanks.
Any discussion from the council?
Yeah, I'd like to just clarify. The Morrison Institute, they do research. They're a lot smarter than me. I brought up the thing about reclaimed water because it comes up all the time here, and I just said, because we were talking about water and they were talking about reclaimed water, I said, well, how do we ensure it's safe and how do we ensure that our public knows it's safe? And they're supposedly working on something to bring out that's gonna break it down to everybody, but I agree with you, we need to know exactly what that water is and what's in it when it's coming out. And I'm sure they're a lot smarter than I am. And the water person for AJ, he's a lot smarter than I am in water. They'll have to prove it, you know, but they're working on that. That was the whole point, is they're working on the reclaimed water and getting the information out to people so they absolutely understand what it is, how it's done, everything that goes into reclaiming water. So I'm not for or against. I'm with you. I just want to know, and I want to be educated.
Well, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.